Check it out. It's your boys here back. Episode 66. Time's flying. Can't believe we're already on episode 66. Check out your boys. You got Gabe here with the headset, master headset, like he's DJing out here, repping that Miami. And Julian, Chicago hat going on with the new mic. Got a lot of questions on that today. Don't know what's going on because he's gonna
Not
have
a
to
new
go back.
mic, same mic. I'm out. I'm not at my normal setup. And I don't got to stand. So I'm just holding it right now. But we're making it good. We all
Hold on
sound
for at
good.
least an hour. All right, well, we're all here. Shout out to Julian and his mic, Gabe and his headset, and then me just being here as well. Guys, a lot of football recap going on here. Gabe, if you want to start it up.
I mean, first we got to give Julian a chance because he got so upset that his girl threw him out the crib. He's not currently
Yeah.
in his house. He got so upset from this Texans Jags game that went on.
I lost my shit.
Julian's trying to convince us that the Jags are for real this year, that they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. Julian, I'll let you get the floor. How did the Texans, one of the worst teams in the NFL, come out with a W over your Jags?
Man, I don't know. This was supposed to be a get right game. This was supposed to be a game after having a really tough, hard game against the Eagles in a monsoon. This was supposed to be the game that you come back and, you just obliterate the Texans. At the time, they're the worst team in the league, probably. They didn't have a win yet, and you're at home in sunny weather, and then they just dropped the ball. Honestly, the big takeaways from this game, everybody's blaming Trevor. Everybody's like, bench Trevor. People are like losing their shit. And I'm like, I just want to be here to be like, it's all good. We're gonna be fine. Look, we got to treat this like his rookie year. Like the first year was a shit show with Urban Meyer. He had no like guidance and how to actually be a quarterback in this league. This is his first year under a real system. And the defense still played great. I thought I've been raving about Doug Peterson's like offensive play calling. I thought he's been great, but I do notice he tends to get away from the run sometimes. I know he's a pass heavy coach, but Travis Etienne was running all over these boys. Like he was by far the best running back on the field that day. And they just got away from it for whatever reason. I'm not sure. They went into half 6-6, and I expected them just to pound the rock, but they didn't. They couldn't really get any of the receivers going. The receivers had 7 drops on the day. Couldn't really get any pressures. Trayvon Walker had a ridiculously dumb roughing the passer call that ended up being the game-winning drive. So it was just like the problem with the Jags so far. If it wasn't for self-inflicted mistakes by one Trevor Lawrence and little things by the receivers and the offensive line, we'd be undefeated because no team has actually beat the Jags. The Jags have been killing themselves. If you go back and watch every single moment, there's been a moment of like this past week, what people are railing Trevor for is he threw an interception in the red zone that he just shouldn't have thrown. The guy was triple covered. He threw the ball anyways instead of running for the first down, and it got picked off, and that pretty much sealed the game. And we've been having some trouble finishing games, close games. All our games that we've won have been dominated, have been like just absolutely smoking them. So they need to learn how to win in close games and actually convert in the red zone because it's like they're killing themselves. Like I said, they would be undefeated if Trevor Lawrence played a little bit above average and cleaned up those mistakes. And yeah, you're looking at an undefeated team and like everybody's talking about us. But
So
you make those small little mistakes.
As a Jags fan right now, do you feel better this season knowing your team is the reason why you're losing? Hence, last season, you guys were just getting beat up left and right.
No, I mean, like I said, we're 2-3. It's still a long season. And like I said, I don't feel like they've been beaten yet. Like somebody has came in and like beat the brakes off of them. Like we have been the better team in almost every single game outside of that Eagles game because you had all those turnovers, but you should win those games. And that's what gives me hope. And that's why I'm like, people are trashing Trevor and all that. I mean, like, look, the dude's only still played 20 games and you could arguably take out 17 of those. So let's give it time.
I wouldn't.
Right. Optimistic Jags fan.
Because no, I'm being serious. Like I've watched every game, every single play. They have not no team has actually beat them. They're killing themselves, whether it be penalties, whether it be just dumb turnovers. The defense is still playing lights out.
So you
It's a
guys are
top
just
10
gonna have to
defense.
clean that up. So going into this next week, who do you guys face, and what can y'all do
Yeah.
different to win?
Well,
They're going to be at the Colts, which they already beat 24-0 already week 2.
Okay.
So, I mean, how do you feel about going into the Colts? Like, do you think this is going to be easy win? Because I don't think the next couple weeks is like it's going to be rough. So y'all definitely need this Colts game. Y'all needed this last game. Y'all need this Colts game.
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, I thought coming into this stretch was going to be easier than I thought. But then the Giants are starting to show up to be like they're a real fucking team.
It's fact.
The Cowboys, I thought was now it looks like that's going to be a tough game. They're playing a lot better. So like a lot of teams are punching above their weight class than I thought they were going to be. The Colts, even though we did shut them out 24-0, they were missing a couple starters and they're getting those starters back. So, and you're going to be in Indianapolis. So I think it's going to be it's obviously going to be a closer game, but nonetheless, the Colts have a terrible offensive line. So Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker and the rest of the boys in the interior are going to have a field day. Michael Pittman is back. Jonathan Taylor looks like he might be out for the game, and so is the backup running back Naheem Hines. So they're going to be struggling in the running game, it seems like, which is good. But I think you should go in there in Indianapolis is not a good team. They're not what we thought they were. Matt Ryan is just washed up. They're not a good team. You should go in there and win that game, even with their starters back. You should go in there and beat them.
So looking at the strength of your schedule going into this game, if you guys lose, is this the end of the Jaguars season?
No, because the AFC South sucks.
Yeah.
So the AFC South is terrible. Tennessee shouldn't even be 3-2 right now.
But they are.
Like their wins are trash. They're not a good team.
But they're
a scrappy team.
They got the win.
It's not over yet.
All right.
Yeah. I think right now, the Jaguars have advantage over the Colts. We'll see, in this matchup, maybe they split depending on the points they have. But the Jaguars still got a chance to be number one in this. You know what I mean? I think the Titans are terrible as well.
The Titans aren't good.
Yeah.
The Jags are the most talent. The problem is it's just a lot of
you got to get the wins in the board, though. You can have talent on paper and show it in the field, but if you guys are losing, then
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's about cleaning up mistakes and finishing games. You do that, they're undefeated.
So I think y'all beat the Chargers when nobody expected y'all to. Y'all lost to Houston when nobody expected to. So, the next couple of games are going to be the Colts, Giants, Broncos, Raiders, and Kansas City. So it's going to be pretty tough. Like, hopefully y'all can get at least 2 wins out of that.
Well, Broncos easy dub. Look, if the Colts beat the Broncos, we can beat the Broncos.
Listen,
and then the Raiders,
the Broncos beat the Texans, and the Texans beat you guys. So,
and Devontae Adams might be in jail by the time we play them. So,
arrest that man. We'll talk about it later. All right, let's talk about another game. Surprisingly, actually decent game, good game. Nothing I was expecting out of because I'm the number one hater of the NFC. Was it the East? What are they called? I don't know. Whatever the Commanders, that whole division, terrible. But I'm in on Eagles. I'm in on the Eagles. So I was kind of interested in this game, and it actually turned out, pretty interesting.
This division's actually looking pretty good, man. I ain't talking about
the division. It looks a lot better than we all
it's
thought.
Back. I feel like it's back. Like
Giants 4-1, Cowboys 4-1, Eagles 5-0. They're looking like the best division in football right now.
So let's talk about the game real quick. Any comments and thoughts you saw? I don't know, Jojo, have you seen anything? Cowboys at Rams. Obviously, the Cowboys pull it out 22-10. Did you see any of this game, and do you have any takeaways?
What stands out to me is the Cowboys defense right now, right? They're really adding pressure. They're getting to the quarterback, making them make big mistakes. Hence why they're 4-1. Even though they have a backup quarterback, the defense is really holding it down.
Yeah, Micah Parsons has been a menace, dude. That guy, he was a beast coming out of college. Did a position change from linebacker to inside linebacker to outside linebacker, and it's just been taking the league by storm.
So, Julian, I mean, do we have a quarterback compromise? Do we have a quarterback controversy going on in Dallas? I mean, Cooper Rush. I mean, every time they put him in, they win the game. Undefeated. So, Julian,
your boy Jerry Jones. Your boy Jerry Jones thinks there's a controversy. No, I mean,
You know why there's a controversy? Because all that money that's involved. You're not all that money that was paid for that talent that's not being used.
I mean, is Cooper Rush looking like he's gonna be another Kurt Warner? Like, I don't know. No, I mean, once Dak gets healthy, you got to put him back in. I mean, at the end of the day, he's the guy you paid. He's the guy who's proved for the last few years that he can be a top quarterback in this league. It's just a matter of putting the wins together in important games and also staying healthy on the field. Obviously, past now 2 years has been kind of rough for him between his leg and now his thumb, but it's looking like he should be back. I saw something on TV today that looks like he might be cleared to play, that he's slinging the ball to CeeDee Lamb and all them saying that he's still got his power and that pop. So
well,
it
yeah,
looks like he could be on track to play, but I'm not sure.
He threw the ball, so
Yeah.
he got his first throws in this most practice.
My takeaway is pretty much the Rams offense is like, this is the greatest show on turf without Marshall Faulk, right? This is the greatest show on turf with no run game. So like offensively, they're excellent. You know, Sean McVay I think he ran a trick play, a trick punt that he had. They had a terrible turnover at the beginning of the first quarter. So first quarter. Man, what a disappointment. Like I have no belief in the Dallas Cowboys, but they're actually better than they are. I do like their defensive line. I think they play very well. And offensively, like Pollard. Let me look at Pollard's stats. Pollard is like one of these guys that like he doesn't run for a lot, but he'll give you like a couple good runs. He'll give you like a one big 30
He's
yarder.
doing more than Zeke.
Yeah. So out of the Cowboys are better than what I thought coming into the season, and yes, they are. This division is way more competitive. So it should be interesting because I'm a Eagles believer. I believe the Eagles will pull it out, but it's interesting how this division is settling up. What do you want to say, Drew?
No, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're this. I always thought the Cowboys actually they have a decent team. Like realistically, like offensively and defensively, they have a pretty good team. What surprised me was that they're going to have a backup quarterback that's going to bring them to 4-1. But if you told me Dak played these past 5 games, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cowboys 4-1 personally. I thought the Cowboys are going to be decent. I had them as the favorites coming out of the division, but looks like the Eagles.
And you guys bring up both
it's going to be
right. I think it's important that we talk about the fact that that's the next matchup: Eagles Cowboys 5-0, 4-1 division matchup, and
do you play
the
Dak?
Importance of the game. No, you don't play Dak. Absolutely not.
I mean, if he's saying that he can sling it, look, my thing is, I will say,
his first snaps. He's not cleared to come back. He has to wait
I agree.
a couple of weeks. There's no shot, but
yeah, Cooper Rush has like proven to be a capable backup quarterback. So yeah, you have no need to rush him. If he was going in there and absolutely like shitting the bed, and you guys are like 2-4 or 2-3. Then I'm like, all right, we consider about bringing him back in to just kind of help save the season. But yeah, they're in a really good position right now,
which is perfect.
And Cooper Rush is playing out of his mind.
The process, and he can go through protocols the correct way, and get game ready. You know what I mean? If they get a couple more wins, that's even better for them. Even if they drop a game or two before he comes back, I still don't think that's worst case scenario.
So as far as like the divisions, looking at the schedule, like yes, this is your first time playing the Eagles, but you get to play them on the back end later in the week. So this is their first, actually not their first. They already played Washington, but I don't think this is important to rush. Like this is their first game playing the Eagles, and they're going to be in Philadelphia. I don't think you rush him, man. I think you save him, get him healthy, and that way you can get those divisional. If you beat a divisional team, you get higher up in the rankings, obviously.
Yeah.
You save him for later. There's no need to rush him. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, the only thing that would worry me, if it was a non-divisional opponent or even an AFC opponent. I mean, for sure an AFC opponent, I'd be like, don't rush them. The only thing that like keeps me on it's like, man, this is the Eagles. This is your head-to-head matchup, and this would put you first in the division, and it kind of set the tone. And that's the only thing that makes me like, man, do you risk it? But then at the same time, I do have a lot of faith in Cooper Rush. The dude's playing really well.
Yeah, I
And
was
there is
gonna
no
say,
QB controversy. At the end
aside
of the
of
day,
the
he's
fact
just a
of
good backup.
yeah, aside of the fact of Dak, I don't know why I keep talking about him. Let's talk about the matchup with who's actually playing because Dak isn't going to be the difference maker right now. Cooper Rush is the one that's got the 4 wins under his belt with developing his offense and everything going on right now. And you got a 5-0 Eagles that we want to talk about, but I don't think the topic's really about rushing Dak back, but just about the matchup itself on who's going to be playing.
Yeah, so the next couple of games, they'll the next team they face will be the Giants in November. But you face the Eagles next, then you have the Lions, and what was their last team? They have Chicago. These are all winnable games. Maybe not the Philadelphia game is winnable, but you can come out at least 2-1 at least, and then you hit the bye week. So don't rush this guy. Like just let him get healthy.
Do delusional Cowboys fan have something to be optimistic about?
Oh, of course, man. They're like Knicks fans. They just think they win one playoff game. They're like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. The era's back. Michael Irvin's back. Troy Aikman's back. We're champions 3 years ago.
Tony Romo was
Delusional fan.
underrated.
Never won anything.
The only thing worse than a Cowboys team is the Cowboys fans. Anyways, all right, that's my topic. But we'll keep following it because it is interesting how much winning is going on. This is the only game I was kind of interested in. I think this was a later game. This happened in the afternoon. This was the Eagles Cardinals game. I just wanted to see how the Eagles will go forward. So we're still talking about the NFC East. Let's talk about this game, Julian. I don't know if you've seen much of this game. What do you think of the Eagles? Well, I mean, not the Eagles. Let's talk about the Cardinals. What do you think about the Cardinals' performance in this game?
Yeah, I think we've beaten the Eagles to death the past few weeks. Yeah, let's talk about the Cardinals. So they were kind of like Kyler Murray obviously was the big talking point this offseason with him deleting all his Instagram posts, including the Cardinals, wanting to get the contract restructured. He finally gets the contract and everything seems to be all hunky dory and we're back going. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is still suffering from his suspension. I think this is going to be his last week, his last coming up. I think he had a 6-week suspension,
Yeah,
I believe.
6 weeks. Yeah.
So he's about to come up on his final game of suspension, and then he'll be back. The Cardinals, I definitely thought they'd be better than where they are right now. And I don't know if it's a testament to Kyler Murray not performing or Cliff Kingsbury not putting it together or not having all your weapons back, like especially your big weapon, DeAndre Hopkins. But the Cardinals have been not looking great since that
No.
10-1, 9-1, or I forgot what. Yeah, that 10-1 start. They have just been downhill since that, and this is bleeding in since into this year. I think we got to give it time and see what happens when DeAndre Hopkins comes back because that will really open up the offense a lot more. So I'm curious to see how that happens. So I'm not going to press the panic button yet for the Cardinals, but I do think there is some worrisome things because they seem just like they can't finish games.
No. Jojo, how do you feel about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals going forward this season? Like, have they been playing up to your expectations?
Absolutely not. And it's funny because we called it at the beginning of the season, in the preseason. Whenever someone gets that big money contract, right? For someone, shout out to Kyler Murray, super talented. They started off with like 7-0 last season. And you want to hold out from the team because you want this money, you're in the media. That's never a good sign. And then you come out, and aside from that comeback win against the Raiders to get them a win, they've looked awful. Not good at all. Nowhere compared to last season. I know they got Hopkins out and, other factors on the board as well, but you can't go fighting for all this money in the offseason and your team hasn't proved anything in the playoffs or even the Super Bowl to come out playing like this.
He hasn't even proved anything. I mean, he hasn't even won a playoff game. And you're going to pay this man. I was saying that a couple months ago. Like, look, you're going to pay this man however much. And I forgot what the contract numbers were. He's a top 5 highest paid quarterback right now. And the guy hasn't even won a playoff game. Like, that is just like, I don't know. Especially having the teams that he's had and the starts that they've had to seasons the past year. It's just a little ridiculous. Like, he's a talented guy, but like you are what your results are.
Yeah, and my takeaway from this game is like, Marquise Brown, he's a nice little player to have, but obviously having what you call it out, like you can see how it can hurt a team, right? Not having that offensive weapon available to you. Um, it's gonna be crazy, man. This upcoming schedule for the Cardinals. I mean, I feel like I'm flipping on the Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals were gonna do a little bit better. The Seahawks are gonna do better.
Yep.
They're gonna be playing next week. They're gonna be playing at Seattle next week, and like I don't even know who's gonna win this game. Like
Geno Smith.
y'all are turning me into a Geno Smith believer, or somehow Geno Smith is good. Is that a thing? Are we 2022? Is that what's really happening?
And that's the thing is the Cardinals offense. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, Rondell Moore, Marquise Brown, James Conner, Kyler Murray himself, Zach Ertz. Like you have weapons on there, and they can't put it together.
Yeah, and I don't want to say like he has the ability, right? We've seen him escape. I always described him as Russell Wilson 2.0.
Facts.
And I think his arm, maybe he's not has the strongest arm in the league, but he can still, we've seen those comeback wins late in games, and it's just like, yo, who is this guy that we're watching? I was like, you look pretty pedestrian as a quarterback, and I'm like, man, this is kind of, I don't know. Maybe I just hyped him up too much. Maybe I was just a little too hype on the train. People they sit on their laurels, they get some money.
Gabe was hyping him up so much. You thought you were gonna get 5% of his contract, right? You're trying to push him to get that contract. You thought you're gonna get a percentage.
I'm about to get a tattoo, man. I was like the calendar tattoo, man.
And here's the thing: they can't even beat good teams. Like,
yeah,
they lost to the Chiefs. They beat the Raiders, and the Raiders were not
comeback victory.
Yeah, in overtime. They beat the Raiders in overtime. They lost to the Rams. They won to the Carolina Panthers, who just fired their head coach, and they're a terrible team. Yeah. And then you just lose to the Eagles. So you lost to like 3 big contenders. Like, how were you supposed to prove to your fan base that like, hey, we can make a playoff run or even make the playoffs in the first place? Yeah. Which coming into the season, you were looking like that they should, but yet you can't even beat top flight teams.
The next 6 weeks is going to be like all divisional teams. They play they play Seattle twice. They play the Rams twice. They play San Francisco. Like those are all your rivals. And like, are you guys ready? Are you guys like ready to? We're in the middle of the season. You know what I mean?
I mean they got a tough stretch. So you got the Seahawks, who somehow are playing better than we thought. You got New Orleans, which I think has a really good defense that will keep them in games. Minnesota's looking like a real contender in the NFC.
That's
Minnesota's really good. Then you got
schedule,
Seahawks again, LA, San Francisco, Chargers, New England. That's enough. That's a tough stretch.
That's a tough stretch. It's gonna be tough.
And they've already
you can't even beat, the mediocre teams or the middle teams. You beat the Raiders in overtime. It's like it's gonna be struggle bus. There's gonna be a lot of L's.
Listen, man, they have to get the wins against Seattle. Then I know Seattle's looking.
You have to. You're just more talented,
decent, but you have to. Yeah, with that team, you're clearly the better team. Just show it on the field. Get those dubs.
Geno Smith is a bum. I refuse to believe that he's good.
Get that morale increased on your team, man. Show why you're there. Show why you got the money. Make a run for the playoffs, man. I don't see it happening, but it's possible.
Speaking of beating the Raiders in overtime, let's talk about the Raiders-Chiefs games that we saw. Obviously, kind of hype. I don't know how hype this is. Is this this is a rivalry, right? The Raiders, Oakland versus Kansas
I think this is the most historic rivalry. Yeah, this is a pretty historic rivalry.
I mean, I know obviously they're in Las Vegas now, but Julian, what are your takeaways from this game?
Yeah, so me and JoJo actually watched this game together. This was the Raiders started off really strong, and I know the Raiders are a better team than what their record says, but at the end of the day, like Bill Parcells says, you're only as good as your record is.
Yeah.
Yep. And but they are definitely starting to turn it around. We saw it against Denver, and then I would say that you saw it against Kansas City. They led the game, I believe, was it 17-0 or 14-0? I believe 14-0.
20.
And then they couldn't hold the lead. They couldn't score in the second half until right at the end with that Devontae Adams bomb. But man, you got to score. You got to keep the pedal to the metal. You can't just get the lead and let teams come back, especially a team like Kansas City. You're only asking Kansas City to put up 20 points to win a game. That's slight work for them. You gotta keep it going, keep the chase moving. You cannot let them just continuously go down the field. I mean, these were long drives too. They were taking him just down the field. And then Travis Kelce just had a field day in the red zone with 4 TDs. Insane. Only 25 yards on the game.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns. That's fantasy points right there.
But I mean, that's what a tight end. Look, as a tight end, I don't care how many yards you have. If you can be a threat in the red zone, that's all that matters. That's your main goal is to block and be a threat in the red zone. And then if you can catch and go for 20 yards, that's great. But my biggest thing I asked from a tight end is like, just catch the ball in the red zone, and that's what he was doing. And he was wide open on a lot of those. And then he had the one that he ran in. But yeah, I mean, look, games are won and lost in the second half, and if you cannot score in that second half, you're asking to lose. You just are. Josh Jacobs had a game, and that's the thing
though. Like if you got a lead, 20-point lead, man, or whatever it was, like you got to pray your defense gets a few stops as well, you know.
Yeah, but you got to keep it going, especially at the run. Josh Jacobs was having a day. I had him on my fantasy. He was running all over Kansas City's defense.
That's a fact.
And obviously they couldn't really get Devontae Adams going until the end of the game. But like, just run the ball. Like, I mean, you're up 14-0 and you're running it well. Just run the ball. Take it downfield. And I think a lot of people are starting to question Josh McDaniels and his coaching without Daddy Bill Belichick there. But and then obviously a lot of frustration with Devontae Adams and all that happened.
Yeah, I think news came out the other day, either yesterday or the other day, being charged with pushing a cameraman. Assault! So, Jojo, what were your takeaways from the game? I mean, are the Raiders for real though?
My leg. That would have been me if Adams pushed me.
Yeah, a guy who just got how much money?
Well, listen. Shout out to that cameraman. Took a hit. That was an NFL hit. Now I'm playing. That was
for the team.
Yeah, that was on call for. That was crazy. Anyways, back to the game though. You could ask Julian in the beginning. I was praying on the Chiefs' downfall, man. I'm like, it's division matchup. I need the division evened out. I'm tired of KC taking the lead, always having a far lead. Right now, they have 1 loss under their belt. Everyone else is kind of like 2 or 3, aside from the Raiders. They have 4, right? But I would say the Raiders is the best 1-4 team that we have seen.
Oh, okay.
They're a really good team. It's just how they're going about these games. Unfortunately, they beat my Broncos. That was a tough loss, but hey, we're not performing. But back to the Raiders game. I mean, they came out explosive, like offensively in Chiefs territory.
No.
And we know that's not a easy field to play at, right? Julian even said, wow, damn, that game is packed. That's how every game is over there in Arrowhead. For whatever reason, maybe they have a winning culture or there's nothing else to do over there, so everyone goes to the NFL games. But God, this guy is just too good. Patrick Mahomes, man. He just finds a way. Yeah. No Tyreek Hill, which has made him develop himself into an even better quarterback, and he has to utilize what he has.
Everybody
and get shifty and get creative and get everyone involved. And listen, Travis Kelce with the 4 touchdowns. Everyone else did the dirty work getting up the field. He was probably blocking the whole time while they were moving up with the short passes and the run game. And guess who happened to be open 4 times in the end zone? Travis Kelce. So I don't know if that was a scheme they planned on purpose or it just happened to be coincidental. But whatever it was, it worked. And, Raiders had it at the end. They had that throw on the sidelines. Unfortunately, they just couldn't keep their feet in. So that pass was ruled incomplete. I mean, Julian was there like, damn, that could have been it right there. And then
that would have been huge if they got that.
You could also question the 2-point conversion early on. Let's talk about that real quick. Did he make a mistake in going for the win? Should you always go for the win, or should he have played it safe and gone for the tie with the field goal? I think there was about 4 or 5 minutes left on the clock.
and it would have came in with the points. He would have been up by whatever possession, whatever. I think you got to go for it, man. Play aggressive, play to win. It's Patrick Mahomes. This guy, you don't give him any chances. I think I saw some statistic online that just attempting it, I gave him like 11% more chance of winning, even though they didn't win. But like, still, you got to put the odds in your favor, right? You got to put the chips in your hand, and like, don't give Patrick Mahomes time. That's like one of the worst things. Give one of the best quarterbacks we've seen, one of the best quarterbacks of our generation. Give him time in the ball. Do not give him that. So I agree. I like the guts. I like the guts.
I agree. Because look, check this real quick, Julian. Right? So they didn't get the 2-point conversion, but they did end up getting the ball back, and they had a chance to go downfield for one last shot.
They did make a stop.
They had the opportunity. They just had to get close enough for field goal range. And again, it was that catch on the sidelines that didn't count. They would have been right there, and they could have sealed the deal. You know, with the field goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, a lot of people. I see a lot of Raider fans trashing Josh McDaniels for that. I don't have a problem with it. You can't tell what the future is going to look like. I see the arguments. Well, you're going to have to stop them anyways. You get the 2-point conversion, you're going to have to stop them regardless. So kick the extra point, tie up the game. So I understand that.
I could see
that. But there's a lot. The thing is, there's a flow. Like, Josh McDaniels is feeling good about his team. And that's the thing that you hear about, like all these like analytic departments and stuff that these teams have now. And you look at all the percentages and the odds of doing that. And all that shit, like, you can have all the analytics in the world. It's bullshit. There's so many different factors that go into a game that, like, there's a certain flow, there's a certain feel. Like, just because another team did that over the course of 10 years, this is the percentage for it. Well, these are different players, different team, different situation, different score. Like, there's so many different things. So to like rely on analytics for the reason why you do something, I always thought it's kind of stupid because there's so many.
Question for you, Julian. If the Jags were in that situation, because now it has to hit home, right? Because we're being effective, right? If this was the Jags playing right now,
Trevor Lawrence up on Patrick
Mahomes, they went for that 2-point conversion with 5 minutes left on the clock, and they didn't get it. And you're down by 1. How would you feel?
Like I said, I don't have a problem for it. I really don't. I think you go for it. I think the Raiders are feeling good. They just had that bomb. Like, I have no problem. Like, if you feel like you're in the groove and you have the trust in your players to go for it, go for it. I'm not gonna like play what ifs because, like, at the end of the day, no one could have predicted that. So it's like I have no issue going for it. It wasn't like an unreasonable thing.
Go for 2. I'll make the call the next game.
Because look, if you get that right, all right. If you get that, you're up 31-30, right? You're able to hold the Chiefs to a field goal. Chiefs are now 33-31. Now all you need is a field goal to get it. As long as you can hold the Chiefs from stop getting a touchdown, you're still in that game. But it's just, so it's like people say, well, if you would have tied it, well, you got to stop them anyway. Well, okay, yeah, but what if you hold them off to a field goal? Now you got to kick a field goal just to tie the game again. If you get this 2-point, if you hold them off to a field goal, now you can win with a field goal. So it's like,
I like the guts.
There's too many what ifs. You know what I mean?
Give me the guts. Like, you got to try it because you got to try it and say, at least I tried it. Whatever. It works. It doesn't work. I tried it. That way I can just get off my chest like, yo, it didn't happen, whatever. At least I had the guts. If you don't try it and be like, what could have happened? Everybody can, run scenarios in their head, but at least you ran it and be like, okay, well, maybe next time we scheme up a better play, or next time, you know what I mean? Run a little tighter route or some shit. I like the guts.
But
you gotta have guts. It's football, dude.
Gabe, what is the Raiders' outlook for the future?
It looks bad. It looks really terrible. If you look at their schedule,
you don't think they can turn it around?
They have winnable games. They're going to play Houston. They're going to play the Saints. They play Jacksonville. Play the Colts. Play Denver. There's winnable games in there. They can turn the season around. They had some bad losses, but they can turn it around. They can we can make it to close to 500 in the next couple weeks.
I will say this loss against Kansas City hurts because 2-3 feels a lot better than 4-1.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can push for a wild card, but they're gonna have to clean things up for sure.
You mean 1-4, by the way? Because
1-4, yeah, 1-4, yeah.
4 losses to their 1. All right, let's talk about the upcoming week. Julian, if you want to pull it up, I'm controlling the sports this week. I guess Let me see.
Yeah, since I'm not on the regular setup.
Like I said, he got, we started a GoFundMe for Julian. He can go back to his
Show
house.
me the money. Julian's gonna be betting a lot this week, so he can get his home back. So he can.
Let's talk about it. This week, this Thursday, one of we had a doodle bowl last week with the
And
Broncos.
we got one again this week,
another
aka
doodle bowl
tonight.
Commanders.
Look at the over and under. Oh my god, 37 points.
Yeah. Commanders at Chicago. Commanders have a whopping -1 favorite, so they got this game as a tie. Listen. If anybody needs a win, it's the Bears. Okay, I don't want to root for the Commanders. They're the bottom of the NFC East. Anybody who needs a win, it's the Bears. I think they're playing their alternate jersey. Is like the orange. Are they playing the alternate orange?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the Bears aren't the Bears 3-2 or 2-3 or something like that.
Let me double check. I have to double check and look. But I'll start with you, JoJo. How do you feel about this game? Who do you have going up on it?
I mean,
-1 Commanders a favorite.
I mean, I agree with what you said, right?
Bears are 2-3.
This obviously a win would benefit the Bears a lot more. Now Commanders, they're the worst in their division. This could be a win for morale. Maybe keep them in contention for that division. Probably won't happen. But who's the quarterback for the Bills? Fields, right?
Yeah. Mind you, the Bears are 2-0 at home.
That don't mean shit because I can't name one receiver on the team.
No, don't get me wrong. Team's terrible, but the offense is terrible. The
defense
is
I'm gonna
keeping them in games.
I'm gonna go with the Bears at home, Justin Fields, and yeah, they're not scoring over 37.5 points.
Yeah,
as a collective, that's not happening at all.
Yeah,
they beat the Niners at home.
Wow. I'm gonna take the Bears because I just go for the home team. If I can't, this is a doodle bowl. I hope it ends in a tie. But I'll go with the Bears at home just because they're a home team. That's the only one advantage.
I will say I'm shocked that the Commanders are the favorites in here, especially since the Bears are undefeated at home.
That's wild.
I would take the Bears with the money too, +100. Like the Bears is definitely the way to go. Give me the Bears.
All right. Let's go on to the next game. Let's talk about Tampa Bay going to Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay at the Steelers. Tampa Bay is the favorite -8.5 points. They got scored 9 or more to win this bet. Julian has left the building. JoJo, how do you feel about this game?
I'll start it up. I mean, I'm gonna go with not because of Tom Brady and crew, but listen, Steelers lost to the Jets, bro. I know Jets are a little proving themselves here, but what is that about? Like, you go ahead and you beat the Bengals early on. You're here losing to the Jets. You're kind of all over the place. I don't know their identity right now. They're just kind of hanging in there like usual, right? Probably go, 8-8 or whatever 9-8 throughout the season. Maybe get a playoff berth. They have the rookie quarterback starting. Tom Brady's gonna go in there and he's gonna throw a clinic.
Yeah. So you got the Tampa Bay winning?
I got Tampa Bay winning.
Man, I got the Steelers losing, but they will cover their points. I think 9.5 or 9 points is a lot to cover. And I think the Steelers will lose, but they will cover the points. They won't lose by that 8.5.
I agree with Gabe. I'll take the Steelers.
All right. Let's go to the next game. Jacksonville at Indiana. Jacksonville versus Colts.
Another doodle bowl. Oh, Colts. Sorry, Julian. My bad.
Colts the favorite by 1.5 points. I'll start with Julian. I'll let Julian get his prediction in here. The Jags were turning around.
We know where he's going.
The Jags turning around.
Jags. The line is the -106 for the Jags, so people are hammering the Jags, and that +112 on the money line looking real enticing. So wow. I'll take the Jags. I mean, we shut them out. Like, come on, like.
JoJo, who you got?
I don't know, man. I rooted for that the Jags to beat the Colts last time just because of home field advantage, but I don't know. The Colts might be the real deal. They beat my Broncos. So I might have
that was a terrible game. Actually, speaking of that, like, look what the performance they get against the Broncos. Like,
but Broncos defense is legit. So I mean,
Okay, so who's the Jags? If you
I
can
don't know
arguably
about
say
your
it's better.
Jags defense. I know Broncos defense is legit. We have no offense. I know that. You know what? I'll go with the Jags on this one.
Yeah.
Just I hope I'm not proved wrong when I actually root for you guys, and I don't want to come back next episode where, well, we only lost because of that 1 or 2 mistakes from Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna hear that every
Yeah.
week. Like, y'all lost. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. Like, it
No,
doesn't matter.
I agree. No,
So
I agree. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, you clean up the mistakes, you win those games. That's all I'm saying.
okay,
But
all right,
yeah,
I'm
and then
gonna
Matt
go with the
Ryan
Jags on this
sucks.
one. You did blow them out 21-zip. You guys had the
And
edge,
look at the
and
Colts'
it's all
past
about
wins.
matchups, regardless, right? It's about matchups. Every individual team, and you guys clearly match up well against the Colts for whatever reason.
And the
So yeah,
Colts wins were flukes. Like they beat the Kansas City Chiefs and they beat Tennessee, games that they were down by
can't believe it.
and shouldn't have won. And those two teams beat themselves, and then they tied the Texans.
All right, we get it, Julian. You get it. You got the Jags. I'm gonna go with the Jags as well. We're all Jags. Jags. They get to turn around on the road. They're gonna come out with a win. If they don't, I'm not picking Jags ever again.
Never
All right?
gonna if they don't win this game, I'm never gonna pick the Jags ever again. I'm
All right,
not, and I don't care what happens that game or what the reasons are.
let's talk about it. Cincinnati at New Orleans. Cincinnati,
Boom.
1.5 favorite. They got to win by 2 or more points. Julian, I'll go with you. Do you have the Bengals beating the Saints by 1.5 or more?
The Bengals have not looked good.
I mean, the last few games they
And I like New Orleans at New Orleans with that defense. Taysom Hill had a game. The tight end, Taysom Hill. And the line is leading towards New Orleans. Give me New Orleans.
Minus 115 on the Bengals. Jojo, who you got?
wrong. I'm going Bengals. Listen, I don't even think I've seen a New Orleans game this season yet. I don't even think I've seen any highlights. I don't know.
New Orleans had a competent.
I don't even know what's going on over there, to be honest. I have no idea what's going on with this team. I just know they're mediocre. Yeah, they got a good defense, Julian keeps saying. But I think Joey Burrow and the Bengals find a little rhythm. Great receivers, we know that. And it's just, man, if the O-line holds up a little more, a couple more games, they've been doing pretty decent. This Bengals team can be elite.
How many times are we going to say that they should be better than what? I don't
No,
even think
but
the
listen,
Bengals
but
beat the playoffs.
I gave you guys the stat the last episode where they had a 2-game span where he only got sacked 3 times, which is
And before that was
a
21
huge,
times since
yeah,
the
yeah.
playoffs.
What I'm saying is
Week
that
to week, they're improving.
they continue that, like they'll be straight, So I'm gonna go Bengals, man. I see the
Man.
upset. They can win on the road. They're good enough to win on the road. New Orleans aren't unstoppable.
I'm selling on the Bengals, man. I thought they should do better. I'm not sold on them. They're not going to win a division. Give
They
me the
just
Bengals.
don't look good.
All right, let's talk about
Same record, by the way.
yeah.
Okay.
Jets at Packers. Packers are -7 favorites, so they got to win by like 9 points or more. -7 is a weird number. Julian, how do you feel about that -7 for the Packers at home?
This isn't even a question. Give me the Jets.
You gonna cover?
Give me MILF Daddy Zach Wilson.
Yo, I'm going Jets. I'm becoming a believer, bro. Packers
Give me
are
MILF
not,
Daddy.
Packers
You
are
got MILF
not
power.
looking good, and the Jets are. So I'm gonna go with the hotter team here.
Listen, man, I'm gonna go with Lambeau Field, hometown favorite. Okay, pack my cheese. I don't know what do they say? I don't know.
Damn, you gonna go against the MILF man?
Hashtag pack my cheese.
That's gross. Actually, I think about it.
Put that on Twitter.
I'm going with the Packers. They listen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points, especially for the Packers. They've been keeping it close. I don't believe in them offensively. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the weapons. Although Randall Cobb did have a good game and Lazard have a good game. Give me the Packers at home.
Look, the Packers can't put up points, and the Jets can. And you got the MILF man at the helm.
Plus a little bit of revenge, hopefully, from the Jets beating my Dolphins. Anyway, we're not going to talk about it. Let's talk about the next game. Patriots.
Everybody out here.
Patriots at Cleveland. Cleveland is the hometown favorite with -2.5. Cleveland at home versus the Patriots, 2.5 points. Jojo, how do you feel about this game?
No. I'm gonna have to go with Browns at home, man. They have a lot of potential in that team. I feel like New England's still mixy as well. kind of going back and forth this season.
And New England just lost Harris, their starting
So-
running back.
I'm gonna have to go. I'll go Browns at home. They have a lot of weapons. They really do. Their offensive
good
threat is
defense.
real, man. Pretty good defense. I'll go with them.
Who you got, Julian?
Give me the Browns at home. This is one last game before Deshaun Watson. They have to win this one. Go 3-3.
Completely forgot about him. That's crazy.
3-3. Like I said, Patriots are missing their starting running back, and they have no quarterback right now. So.
Give me Bill Belichick on the road. I'm gonna upset all you guys.
What?
I believe in the Patriot way.
This guy is
Wow,
coming from a
delusional.
Dolphins fan.
You are delusional.
Listen, man, I believe.
Bro, we've talked about how Miami fans are delusional.
No quarterback. you lost your running back, and that's your division, right?
Listen,
you know what?
And
Zappy.
Nick Chubb has been playing out of his mind. I have Nick Chubb on fantasy.
Zappy's the future. Okay, Zappy is the future.
I have Nick Chubb on fantasy. Dude's been playing out of his mind.
All right, let's go. Vikings. Vikings going to be in Miami playing the Dolphins.
this
Vikings
is
are
easy.
favorite.
God.
3.5.
This is
3.5
easy.
for the Vikings. What's up?
That should be higher.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Vikings.
taking the over. You're taking the
I'll
over
take
now?
I'm taking. No, I'm talking about the spread.
Vikings
I
winning by a
would
touchdown.
bet higher on the spread. I'll take Vikings 6.5.
Really?
I agree.
I
I
think
agree.
Vikings win by a tutty. The Vikings are good. Dolphins are about to roll out a third string rookie quarterback. I don't care if you're at home or not.
Sorry, Gabe. You guys lost your momentum. You guys lost your morale.
Listen,
Just wait till next season.
And mind you, the Dolphins have been allowing a ton of yards on defense, and the Vikings are about to have a field day.
the season's not over. We're still hope for the season, but I'll take the Vikings as well. I don't expect them to win this game. All right, let's go over to the next game. Ravens at New York Giants. Ravens are a -6 favorite, so I got to go 7 or more.
Wow.
Jojo, do you have the Ravens beating the Giants? by
I'm
7 or
calling
more?
the upset. Giants winning at home at MetLife.
You have them winning
he's
outright.
taking the money
Straight
line.
up winning.
Calling
Yeah.
it right now. Sorry, Lamar. You're great. Baltimore's great. Giants are playing out of their mind right now, looking really good. Saquon is gonna go ham. Whatever Lamar runs, Saquon's gonna double it. I'm calling that now. They know it's a big game,
Write
right?
it down.
Hometown team.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna go with the Giants. Hey, we've seen it all this season. We've seen the Dolphins beat the Ravens, all right, and that's saying a lot. So
Hometown team. JoJo's taking this.
All right, Julian, who you got?
I actually agree with JoJo. I'll take the Giants on the money line.
Really?
I think the Ravens allow a lot of points, and they cannot stop a fly like on the running game. And Saquon's gonna have a day. I'll definitely take the 6.5 +6, but I wouldn't be afraid to take them to win that game outright.
You fools! This is a foolish bet. How dare you deny and leave Lamar Jackson, one of the greatest quarterbacks of this era? Listen, they do give up a lot of points. I will say that, but New York Giants are one-dimensional, right? They go when Saquon goes. Either Saquon's going or Daniel Jones is rushing. I don't believe in their receivers in the Giants. Although the Ravens do give up a lot of points. I mean, in Lamar Jackson, I trust. Give me the Ravens.
Also, this spread is very risky for the Ravens. Looking at the past few games, granted, they've had a tough schedule, but all games have been within 6.
All right, and Lamar Jackson, I trust. All right,
except for the Jets game.
49ers in Atlanta. 49ers are favored by 5.5 points. Julian, I'll go with you. 49ers, 5.5 points. Do you believe in the 49ers in Atlanta?
Man, the Niners offense sucks. God. The Niners win.
Yeah. But they can win by a touchdown. Come on.
Dude, the Niners offense is terrible. They can't score points to save their life.
You don't think Deebo Samuel can pull through one game against the Falcons, get a couple of TDs and no, right?
Yeah, I'll take the Niners -5, but I'm really reluctant on that because the Niners cannot put up fucking points, dude.
I don't believe in the Falcons. I think the Falcons are one of the worst teams. I'll take the 49ers
terrible.
with points.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Julian, like, do you really think they're gonna put up 3 field goals and just call it a day against the Falcons.
Dude, look, they went 11-10 against the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos defense.
19-10 against the Bears.
The bets have been put in, guys. Let's not discuss this. All right, Panthers at LA Rams. LA Rams obviously coming off a devastating loss to the Cowboys.
Terrible.
LA Rams are a -10 favorite. I think that's a lot of points. Julian, do you believe that's a lot of points? Do you think the Rams win this
Yes,
more?
100%. That is a lot. Even though the Panthers just got blown out by the Niners. Man, they don't have a coach. I feel like teams after they fire their coach always tends to perform better. So give me the Panthers +10.
Wow, in Baker he trusts.
I don't think they win. Rams win, but I think they can get within 10.
All
I think
right.
they can
What
go
do you got,
against the
Jojo?
spread.
No, I think Rams are going to come back. That Carolina defense is not like the Cowboy defense. Stafford should have a game. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask you guys real quick, not to get off track. Do I start Stafford or my boy Wilson in fantasy?
Ooh, I would start Stafford, dude.
Dude,
I would
I
start
mean,
Stafford.
okay, I think we're overhyping. Stafford has not shown anything.
He
this
has-
season.
Man, he has some big throws. Big throws.
He
Listen,
hasn't
man.
shown jack shit.
He
this
really
season.
hasn't so far. But that's who I'm stuck with.
My one boy keeps on calling him staff fraud.
Oh, wow.
All
So,
right.
listen, I'm going with the Rams. Rams more than 10 points. They win by 2 touchdowns, 14 points.
I can see that. Gabe. I see the vision there. I feel
All right.
it.
See the vision.
I see the vision.
All right. Did you pick your pick, Jojo? We're good?
Yeah, Rams.
All right. Let's
All
go
right, let's speed
Arizona.
run through these right here.
Yeah, Arizona at Seahawks. Arizona and Seattle.
Arizona.
Ooh,
Arizona
Seahawks.
-3 favorite.
I believe in Geno. Let's go.
I believe in Geno as well. I believe he's the truth.
Wow,
Buffalo's
okay.
at Chiefs. Big rivalry.
Oh.
Buffalo at Chiefs.
Listen,
-2.5.
I'm praying on the Chiefs' downfall all season, and this is a redemption game for Josh Allen. They've won on the road before in the regular season, but we know they got knocked out twice back-to-back against the Chiefs. So this is about morale. This is about, hey, you're not better than me, Patrick Mahomes, all right? Doesn't matter. I'm going Buffalo on the road.
Ooh, Buffalo on the road. Who you got, Julian?
Buffalo. I think they're a better team.
I'll go with Buffalo. I think they have a better defense. I'll go with Buffalo. All right,
I like
Dallas
their weapons more too.
at Eagles. Another great matchup. We're talking about the NFC East. Dallas at Cowboys. Eagles are -6.5 favorite. Jojo, what do you got?
Oof. My heart's telling me Eagles, but my mind's telling me Cowboys for some reason because of the defense. I'm gonna go Eagles though. I'm gonna go Eagles.
All right, Julian, who you got?
Eagles win. Cowboys against the spread. I'll take the Cowboys.
So you got the Cowboys covering. I got the Eagles winning straight up. I'm still on the Eagles train. I believe in them until I don't believe in them. All right, Broncos in LA. LA Chargers. Chargers are a -4.5
Monday Night Football.
favorite. Monday Night Football. What you got?
Damn, Broncos got a lot of prime times.
Yeah, we have too many. I think it's a curse at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna go Broncos. We gotta have a game, bro. I'm gonna say this until we get the game. We gotta have a game. We have to have, and it's a division matchup. So
The Chargers.
wow.
Give me the Chargers at home. I believe.
I mean, Chargers are really good, so I don't blame you guys. Like, I don't.
Dud of a
Broncos
season
can't
for the
win.
Broncos.
They're really, but Chargers lost to the Colts, so I mean, so did we. You know what? I'm gonna go in circles here.
His own logic is defeating his own logic.
The Chargers lose to the Colts. Am I crazy?
All right.
Chargers lost to the Colts. Did I miss that?
I can't.
You said it.
Chargers didn't play the Colts.
I can't
What did they
remember.
lose to?
Don't ask me about stuff that we can look up online.
Chargers
All right.
lost to the Jags.
The Jags. They lost to the Jags.
Take down my screen. Take the screen down. All right.
You want Gabe clicking on the wrong tab.
I mean, I can turn it off. All right. Let's talk about a little bit of some other news going on because it's we're in the probably prime time for sports right now. We have NHL starting, but we have the NBA about to start. We're in the middle of NBA season as Julian walks away because he doesn't like basketball. Jojo, I'll talk with you because you're a resident basketball. guy. Obviously, biggest story of the week is Draymond Green. We heard news that Draymond Green got in a fight with Jordan Poole at practice, and then all of a sudden, a couple days later, we get on TMZ. TMZ has a video pulled out of Jordan Poole pretty much getting dropped. So Jojo, just kind of what are your thoughts on the video? What are your thoughts on the whole situation? Obviously, the Warriors trying to say, "Oh, we're gonna do it," treat it in house. But then this video comes out. What were your reactions from?
I don't know. My first reaction was Draymond's trying to have a Michael Jordan moment here at practice. Maybe he wants some highlights for his documentary in the future.
His podcast.
I don't know. But in terms of the punishment, I think he got away. He got away with it. And it's like, hey, it's like me going to work or, Gabe, you're going to work. We're going to punch our coworker with like really kind of no consequences. Like if you really think about it like that. Now here's my take though. If the video never got out and they handled it internally and that was his punishment, was the fine, I guess that's fine, right? But the fact that the video got released, the public got to see it. We know the history with Draymond's behavior on and off the court. Not saying he's a bad guy or anything. Getting texts, getting to scuffles,
kicking people in the nuts.
Yeah, fights here and there, you know what I mean? And the video got out, and I feel like you got to put a suspension in place. And here's why. Because if that was Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson that he punched in the face,
he'd get traded.
He'd be gone.
Yeah, he'd be traded
gone
for sure.
And he'd be suspended. He'll get fines. The media will be in an uproar, right? But just since it's a 6-man, Jordan Poole, whatever. Yeah, we'll take the fine. He'll learn from, the mistake. They handled it internally. They didn't want it to get messy because that's not the Warriors organization. They're not a messy organization. So they cleared it in-house and they want it out of the media as soon as possible. But now I think that sets a precedent for other players. Think, that's fine. Hey, man, if I get in a fight with somebody or, on other teams, you know what I mean? They might think it's okay. That's my take.
All right, Jalen, did you have any reactions to the video if you saw it, or what was your kind of reaction of now that Draymond Green's getting fined? He's not really getting suspended, but he will be back in practice actually today. I think he said he was back in practice Thursday, so he should be back in practice as they rep up for the NBA season. What are your thoughts on Draymond Green video?
No, yeah, I mean, I pretty much kind of agree with JoJo. Like, I get that you have to get him back because you got to get ready for the season, and obviously he's one of your starters. But it's ridiculous, and like, this probably speaks to like the overall like sports athletes as a whole, where like a lot of times they just do these things. You just think you can get away with it because you don't live in the same world we do. Just like we saw with Devontae Adams, and except for Devontae Adams actually going to suffer some actual consequences for it, unlike Draymond Green, who's just going to get a slap on the wrist and pay a fine that for the amount of money he makes means nothing. So. Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, it sets a precedent that it's like, all right, that like I can do whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't matter. I'm Draymond Green. Like,
yeah, I think it's pretty insane. Like what Joe was talking about earlier. Like to go to work and be like, people just punch each other, and then you'd be like, oh no, we're just gonna keep moving on. Like I can't imagine like if that happened to anybody else. If somebody one of the assistant coaches punched Steve Kerr, I can't imagine. They'd be like, hey, we're going to keep the assistant coach. We're going to keep him here. We're just going to keep it.
Dude, we literally said that watching Monday Night Football.
If like one of the board members punched Adam Silver, like Adam Silver would be like, hey, we're going to keep him here. We like that would never happen in any other workplace. That would never, ever happen. Obviously the video does make it uglier. And bro, you just made Jordan Poole a clown. Anywhere he goes, any away game, bro, I can see videos of, fucking Friday. You just got knocked off. I got people having pictures holding it up. Him on the floor, him knocked out, all these jokes. You just
he could have pressed charges.
You could. This guy got pushed. Devontae Adams just pushed a cameraman and getting misdemeanor assault. This guy punches him. He's like, oh, well, he's gonna leave for a little bit, but he's going to come back.
Honestly, I think he got away with the fine because of how Jordan Poole might have reacted to it. I mean, I think, hey, we're teammates. He probably was the mature one and brushed it off. and was like,
Yeah, it wasn't like
I'm
some
good.
random guy.
Like he's like, I'm good, and it does happen, right? Like we don't know the behind the scenes, right? People are pushing each other at practice, right? You go through ups and downs, with your boys and all that good stuff, right? Something happened there that triggered Draymond. He might have said something, but I think Draymond got away with it due to how Poole handled it. And if he wanted it to progress into something else, he could have pushed for it. But I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Also, too, like it's the principle. Like you're a grown ass man in your 30s. Like, what do you look like punching somebody? Like, that's ridiculous.
I'm telling you, he saw The Last Dance and he heard about the fight with Steve Kerr and he got motivated. He's like, "Yo, if that can happen back then, I mean, we're in a different era now. We're in a social media era, man. Like the media.
You're a grown ass man with gray hair. You got gray hair coming out, like, and you're just gonna punch a teammate. Like, come on, dude. You're supposed to be a leader.
We're in the locker room. We're squaring up real quick, or at least you gave me that hit back, and we're good. That's how I would have solved it. I'm like, so unless they watched it like that in that way, then I don't know.
He just slapped him.
I wonder. The thing I wonder about too is like who the dynamics of the team is like. Everybody looks up to Draymond as obviously he's the enforcer guy, he's a leader guy, winner guy. But it's like who checks Draymond? Like if he's out of line, like who the hell is checking Draymond? Is Steph doing that? Because I don't think you think Steph is
maybe I don't know. Maybe Steph. I don't know.
I feel like who Steph's in his own world. He's not.
I think Kerr.
Maybe Kerr because he dealt with a Michael Jordan kind of guy, and look who else was on that team.
Yeah,
and you're the coach. It's kind of your job.
So that's my question. Like, who watches the Watchmen, right? Like, who? Yeah, you're the team leader, but what about when the team leader's out of line or whatever?
You shouldn't need it. These are grown ass men. Yeah. You shouldn't need it. Like, you're grown ass men. You don't need babysitters. Like, come on. Like, it's crazy.
And let's end it with baseball. Obviously, we're in the middle of baseball season. I think we talked about a little bit. We're doing the play-in series that we had. Jojo, I'll talk to you because you're also another baseball resident. Astros versus Mariners. Mariners, when they're playing, they beat the Blue Jays. So the Astros will be playing the Mariners going forward. How do you feel about this matchup? Who do you feel like is going to come out of there?
I mean, listen, man. Mariners had the edge. Astros had, unfortunately, the walk-off win against them in Game 1. Yeah. Don't want to see them win, but they are playing right now. Actually, as we speak, is Game 2. Last I checked, Houston was up 1-0. Oh, actually, Mariners up 2-1 right now, mid-6, so they could get a win in potentially. Both teams offensive threats. Both teams have decent pitching. Astros obviously have a lot more playoff experience, which gives them the edge. Mariners haven't made the playoffs in about 21 years, and they're one of the youngest teams right now. And I'm rooting for them. I would rather see Seattle next round instead of an experienced Houston team who knows how to get to the World Series. They've been there a couple of times in the last few years. So that's my take on that. Yankees won their first game against the Guardians. Shout out to Rizzo hitting that go-ahead home run, giving us the lead as well. And Cole had his redemption game for losing in the wild card against Boston last year. I give him that. It was a tough one. We're definitely hard on him. He did give up a home run as expected from Cole, but what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? But he had a solid game. Shout out to our bullpen coming in to relieve him as well. We didn't give up any more runs other than that home run from Cole, and we got out of a few sticky situations. No. So that's from the American League side. Gabe, I don't know if you want to go over what's going on in the National League, if you've been keeping up.
No, I haven't been keeping up too closely. I just
watched.
Yeah, go ahead.
Padres. The Padres with the upset.
Yep.
Boy, Manny Machado.
Yep.
And the crew made Clayton Kershaw look like a bum out there.
Per usual.
Yeah. The Mets are gonna Mets. The Knicks are gonna Knicks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, these are the Dodgers too. Dodgers just upset.
Yeah, I mean, and that
Padres are my team, man. Padres are my team going into this. I mean,
pretty tough to lose Tatis. Halfway through the season, obviously steroid. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, he was out regardless. He never came back.
I thought it was
his injury, and
then wasn't the thing supposed to be he had unpaid suspension? Like he would still play, but it was unpaid.
He was using ringworm medicine. Ringworm.
No, but wasn't the punishment? It was like unpaid, like 80 games unpaid.
Yeah, or something. He'll be even beginning of next season. He won't play either. Like it goes into next season. So
well, no, he just won't get paid. I believe, but like what JoJo said, he was injured, so that's the reason why he's not playing. He just wouldn't be getting. I don't know if he would still get bonuses or whatnot for playoffs. But
So JoJo, how do you feel about LA versus Padres? I mean, do you think this is everybody was talking about this as soon as they made this trade halfway through the season? Everybody, they get Juan Soto, Padres get Juan Soto. This was the matchup they were all talking about that the Padres actually compete.
This is what they wanted. They want to win the division. Obviously, there's other ways to get into the playoffs with the wild card other than winning the division. We know Dodgers took that by storm. They're all by like 15 games. And again, you just reminded me of acquiring Soto. This is why they got him, for situations right here, right in the postseason where anything can happen. You want to set yourself up and your team up for success here, especially going against LA, which they're going to take pride on that. Like I said, that rivalry in that division,
inter-city rivalry.
Yeah, man, it runs deep. These teams hate each other. Yeah. So
hour and a half apart.
Anything can happen. It's so hard to bet against LA because they have everything. High offense, great coaching, great defense, base stealers, pitching. Like, you can name it. They finished with the most wins of the season again. But in playoffs, you got to go with the hotter team. And the Padres are hot right now.
Ooh.
No one can stop them defensively. Like, their offense has just been like, they've been putting up runs left and right. I swear, every time I look over at a Padres game, they got bases loaded or two on base.
If the Mariners are the Cinderella team of the American League, National League is definitely the Padres. I think they're the team kind of to root for if you're looking for an underdog, because LA is New York East or New York West.
Pretty much. And that's a great comparison.
They got home field advantage now.
What was that, Julian?
I say Padres got home field advantage now. So,
I mean, and then we could also go into Phillies versus Braves, which that series is tied as well. Braves are the defending champs. Phillies pretty dangerous. They came into the playoffs pretty high as well. Julian's favorite player in the world, Bryce Harper. The boy Harper leading the pack there, but Braves won 3-0.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in that series. I'm excited to see the turnout. Honestly, I don't care who wins that series.
Yeah,
Atlanta, they are the defending champs, so kudos to them. And they lost Freddie Freeman in the offseason, and they're still there.
Yeah.
There's something about this team that just
last year they
keep coming back, especially towards the end of the season. They always make great runs right before the postseason, and they come in hot.
They've been one of the best teams since the All-Star break. I think they had one of the best records. Like, they went on the tear. So
they won like hot teams, 14 games in a row, I think, to catch up to the Mets, and they would.
The NL looks super like fun to watch. Probably more so than the AL. Like, the NL just looks super entertaining between both series.
So yeah, we'll be watching that as we go forward. Like I said, we're in the middle of MLB playoffs, middle of week 5, week 6.
Well, real quick, second round predictions to go World Series as it stands now. You guys still just keeping with your picks? Yankees?
I got Yankees Dodgers. I still got Yankees Dodgers. I wanted it 3 years ago. I still want it.
Yeah. I said Mets before, but Mets are eliminated. We haven't spoke about it in a while. I'll let you go first, Julian. Let me get my thoughts together.
I said Yankees Braves, but man, I'm all on the Padres train. I think they can make a run.
Padres.
I don't know, when you see like lower seed teams like this, like sometimes, like, that feeling when you see these, like a team that's about to make a run, just like we saw with like Cincinnati and NFL, like when teams just like, you get like everything's just clicking, it's scary. And like, yeah, I think the Yankees definitely make a World Series. The NL's, I'm kind of a toss-up, like between Padres, Braves.
Listen, the winner of this series is going to the World Series between the Padres and Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
All right, so he's not going to be
clear. You don't think the Braves don't stand?
Braves stand a chance. I mean, Braves beat LA to get to the World Series. So this is tough, man. This is tough right now. I really want to see who comes out of this round.
So we'll be following it. We'll be back here next week. More MLB. What's up?
One last thing.
This guy don't want to finish
one last thing.
Inter Miami, New York City FC matching up in the playoffs.
Right. Cut this man off.
Cut it off.
Somebody turn this guy off.
Matching up in the playoffs
next week.
See y'all next week. Real Fans Podcast, all the things, Twitter, Facebook, all of the interwebs. Real Fans Podcast. All right. Peace.